Run.
Let's go. What's poppin'? Back like we never left. BDA. Yo, today we're talking One Piece chapter 895. And yes, it was an amazing chapter, and we did cover just Luffy versus Katakuri, but I feel like it's a lot to talk about here. Even though it's just one thing happening, we have a lot of things we can talk about. So we're gonna get into it right now. Okay, I know we want to get to the main thing, which is Snakeman, Gear 4 Snakeman. We want to get to that, but let's talk about the cover page really quickly. It's the Buggy cover page. Oddly enough, Buggy is a fan favorite. Personally, not one of my favorite characters, but I understand why he's a fan favorite, because he's a silly character and he's a troll. I understand Buggy. I understand him, and he's grown on me, but he's not one of my favorite characters. I don't mind him. A lot of people love Buggy, especially after everything that happened with him and Mihawk, right? Anyway, Buggy has his cover page, and 5 of Buggy's top earners have resigned, so Buggy's on the boat. I'm assuming he's trying to find new people, or he's going to go look for them. Regardless, this should be a very entertaining and funny cover page. Just want to touch on that really quickly, but let's get right to the fucking chapter. So it's like that, right? Actually, his left hand is like that, and that's like that. Anyway, Gear 4 Snakeman. Honestly, the form doesn't look a lot differently than I pictured it. I expected a condensed form. It looked pretty much the same as Boundman, but his hair, it's a bit longer. It looks just like Boundman. It looks just like Boundman, but he's more slender. Haki isn't covering his chest, so it looks more like Luffy than Boundman does, right? In comparison to a lot of the theories from earlier, I would say that everybody got a bit of their theory correct. I mean, I'm not the one to pound the table and say, yo, I got this shit right. I can admit, I remember Gear 5, he made a great video and he got a lot of things correct. Roger had a great video, Joy Boy, Panda. So all these guys, they had great videos, and it kind of culminated with like a little bit of everybody, because I think what we did in the community, we always go overboard, right? We see Snakeman, we're like, shit, this nigga about to sense the heat in the air. He about to use his tongue. He about to have venom things. Shout out to Roger. This is basically Luffy's speed form, all right? And he says he's much faster, right? He's much faster, and it showed. It showed in this chapter. I don't mind his form. I really don't mind his form. I enjoy it. It looks cool. I think I like it more aesthetically than Boundman with the big gut and shit. I like this a bit more. Based on my discussions with some of my guys today, I think I have a video that would be coming out on Boundman. And I want to have a video just explaining Snakeman as well, just what I think about it. Just a video just dedicated to Snakeman, you know, just get that out. I have quite a few videos scheduled, so if you're here for the first time, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and check out my Twitter. Brago DH. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get to the fight, right? So Luffy versus Katakuri, that starts off with Katakuri casually dodging a punch from Luffy. His attacks seem to work the same way. He retracts his arm and he sends out a punch, and he did that versus Katakuri. But this time, his arm stretched all the way, like a typical Culverin when he was in Boundman. However, Katakuri dodges it, right? And he thinks it's over. He had a smirk on his face, like, nigga, that ain't gonna hit me, bro. You gotta step your game up. And basically in the future, more than likely you saw that. But I really like Dritz's explanation of it. Dritz was saying that he believes that Katakuri sees what he can't see. Because Culverin went out his line of sight, therefore you can no longer see it, so therefore there's no future sight. That's why I caught Katakuri off guard. He didn't know what to do, and even after he regained his composure, he's like, what just happened? I'm sure I dodged it. So Luffy and his attacks, they're going after Katakuri, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. So he's dodging, he's like, oh, it's from the side, and Katakuri, in quick instant, he figures out what Luffy's doing. Luffy uses Culverin in this form, and this Snakeman form, it seems to be designated for strictly snake attacks. So I'm surprised he didn't have an upgraded form of Snake Shot, you know, that he used versus Hody. But we'll see. This is just Luffy's first chapter in this form. So we'll see if there are more forms to come. Not more forms, but we'll see if there's more attacks to come, because I don't think the fight is necessarily over, but we'll get to that. So Katakuri's dodging all of Luffy's attacks, and he's kind of reading the situation really well. But before I move on, I just have to commend Oda for the beautiful art in this chapter. Like, this chapter, as far as the art, to kind of show you exactly what was going on, the motion, show you the fluidity, the impact, the movement. It was a beautiful chapter in regards to the art, the intention to let you know what was going to go on, because in certain manga, it's a lot of activity, it's a lot going on, but you can't follow. Oda took the concerted effort to kind of figure out and try to show you what was happening, so you weren't confused the whole fight, and he did a brilliant job. The art was fantastic. Luffy uses Culverin, right? If you remember Culverin versus Doflamingo, it was an attack. It follows you all around, but now Luffy uses Jet Culverin. He's implementing Gear Second, Geppo, and with his Devil Fruit, so like it's following people around. I don't know how it chases, but it seems to have a mind of its own sometimes, and it's just following people. And he adds a Jet Gatling to it, so it speeds it up. It's already fast. Remember versus Doflamingo, Doflamingo is going all around, was chasing him. It's faster than that using Jet on it, so like it caught Katakuri. Katakuri somewhat blocks it and he gets sent back a bit, but he doesn't fall on his back. That's something we're gonna see here. He doesn't fall on his back, and Luffy comes in for another punch. Katakuri evades, turns into a fucking donut, bro. He turns into a donut, and then he comes out with his diced mochi. Luffy uses his retraction, right, and his elasticity to kind of gain some momentum or gain some force and some torque to get that punch really in there. Katakuri turns it into a donut and rolls to get momentum. This is interesting because it's showing innovation on Katakuri's side and on Luffy's side as well, which is like these two guys, they're pulling out their full arsenal, which is making for an amazing fight. Okay, so something that's funny here, like, believe it or not, Katakuri's stickiness is working again. So Luffy's stuck and Katakuri's just whirling him around like a fucking like rubber band, I don't fucking know, or like a towel or some shit. And then he slams him into the ground, and the panel that followed was spectacular. It created like a donut in the mirror world ground, but Katakuri looked like a fucking demon, like Akuma or something from Street Fighter. I believe his name is Akuma. It had a random moment after that where Luffy said out, yo, this sucks, I'm hungry. People said that he was just venting. I felt like it was oddly timed for him to just spew out all that. Katakuri's like, yo, what the hell are you talking about? And I said the same thing, like, yo, what is Luffy saying? People were saying that, you know, his observation hockey's going out of control. He's all this trauma is driving him crazy. That's what the chat was saying in the live reaction. I was like, well, we gotta slow our roll a little bit. But he even said, now I feel better. Everything that's been on my mind, like, fall now, Katakuri, or just fall, Katakuri. We then proceed to trading blows, right? And they're trading blows, and it is an amazing watch. Again, Oda is prioritizing, showing you exactly what's going on. It is a bit convoluted, but regardless, it looks great. It looks great because you can see and follow pretty much everything that's happening. After the Katakuri like dope ass like pose, the next best thing in this chapter was the Black Mamba. If you know basketball, you know that's fucking Kobe, right? So the goddamn Kobe attack. Pretty much, it's like Bellamy, where he's bouncing everywhere, but it's with his arms. So it's like a Culverin using Geppo, but it's like a Culverin, Geppo, and Gatling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all that in one. And Katakuri, Froob used this example. It's like, you know, those red lasers in like a bank. Katakuri's just casually dodging, doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, he comes and fucking just decks Luffy with a kick. And Luffy eats it. And Luffy takes it, I should say, because he's taken a lot of damage this fight, bro. I don't know how you take this nigga Luffy out, because at this point, after all the Katakuri did, he got his side missing and he's still going, my dog. Anyway, Luffy sees that Katakuri uses that donut attack again. He says, yo, it's that ability again, and he uses a different attack this time. So this Katakuri using Diced Mochi again, and Luffy uses King Cobra. So I expect that's a way to counter his attack, because that's how Luffy does. He's a counter puncher. Then he finds a way to get around it and to, you know, basically catch you off guard. And then that's how Luffy typically beats people, by using your own shit against you. Not necessarily, but by figuring out your weakness and capitalizing on it. I didn't necessarily like when they didn't show the impact and show who won, but this is Oda just like basically saying, gotta wait for that, because next chapter, which is 2 weeks away, by the way, we're probably not gonna get the Luffy Katakuri fight. We're probably gonna veer away a bit, which is gonna suck. But I expect great things. Now, a few things from this chapter. Katakuri seemed genuinely happy at the beginning of this chapter, at least. Maybe it's the smirk from dodging the attack, but this was the first time with Luffy and Katakuri, it seemed like they were somewhat on the same level. Katakuri bounced back like really quickly, really fast. That shows his experience and the fact that he's actually worth his bounty. I'm sure people are starting to come around and say, you know what, Katakuri's kind of legit. Luffy had to bust out 2 forms, and honestly, he's countering this form, because if you go through the attacks, Katakuri is landing more attacks than Luffy in this new form that was supposed to work against him, somehow nullifying his future sight that's not working in the same way, and he's still actually winning the fight. But Luffy, he's doing a lot better. It comes down to one attack, but I don't think you're gonna beat Luffy in a battle of will. Like, that's not gonna happen. Again, with Luffy's forms though, like Gear 4th is predicated on power, speed as well. Tankman is mostly defense, and Snakeman is speed for the most part. It has power behind it, speed and unpredictability. Regardless, I think that Snakeman accomplished what it needs to do. It's catching Katakuri off guard, and he has a fighting chance now. Well, he's been had a fighting chance, like, once everything happened in the mirror world, but now we're seeing it come to fruition. Now, a few things I had a problem with. All right, so Luffy, it really hasn't explained like why Luffy didn't use that form before, but I've rationalized it in a way where Luffy, he did not know exactly what Katakuri could do from the beginning of the fight. Luffy, this whole fight, has been trying to figure out what Katakuri's abilities are, how he can counter them, because he tried at the beginning of the fight, like Gear 2nd wasn't working, tried Gear 3rd, Katakuri showed him like, I'm better than you at that, and then Luffy went Gear 4th, after the Merienda, and Gear 4th, it worked for a bit, but after Katakuri got focused, it failed. So Luffy had to, again, figure out a new strategy. Now, Luffy, that whole final panel, and then Luffy saying, ah, that's right. It seems like Luffy's like just remembering everything that was happening. I'm seeing people saying that that translation could be Luffy answering Katakuri. That was not explained in this chapter either. That last, just vague chapter with like random stuff going on where so many different interpretations, like that wasn't explained. The observation haki, Luffy did not use observation haki seemingly this chapter. But if we're saying Katakuri's observation is working, because it seems like Katakuri's observation is working, Luffy's also sensing, but we didn't see it from his perspective, so that was not there. So it's hard to say that. So many ways you could take it, but I feel like right now, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I just wanted a great fight, and I'm getting that at the end. Hopefully it's not over so we can see some more like fisticuffs and see them go at it. A battle of wills. Like I was saying before, I wanted a T double KO. These guys, symbolically, it was showing that they're two men, two brave warriors. Luffy's trying to overcome Katakuri. So even if it's not a double KO, we have both of them fall at the same time. Luffy gets up and he walks out, he gets away. Somehow I feel like Luffy is connected to Katakuri and he's going to try to help Katakuri in some way. The thing is, I don't think he's going to cover Katakuri's mouth, because then that removes all the progression that Katakuri's had, all the development as far as like him not being afraid of like societal norms. I sound like I'm talking about Katakuri in the real world. Him not being afraid of like Big Mom's like societal norms. He has expectations. It was like this random commercial before where it's like this random model was like, I'm not going to be what you expect of me anymore. Yeah, it was like cringy as hell. Katakuri is pretty much saying that, like, I know you expect me to be perfect. I know you expect me to be like all these things that's perfect and like valiant and just like a crystal clear, crystal clean image. I'm not that. I love donuts. I feel like Katakuri is going to embrace that going forward. How that ties back with his actual family and Big Mom, that remains to be seen. But regardless, it is progression for Luffy this chapter, or this arc, because he's grown a lot observation haki wise. We've got a new form that Luffy can utilize. I've loved Luffy's growth throughout this chapter, or this arc rather. Again, fantastic chapter. I enjoyed it. I didn't like the reveal of Gear 4th, right? It was just like bam in your face as soon as you started the chapter. It was just like, ugh. I would have liked some build up, some smoke, all that shit. And then also I was trying to track the smoke for Luffy and see if it dwindled as the fight went on, if that's like a tracker to see how much longer he has in that form. That would be interesting. That would be dope to see, because then we can kind of track and say, okay, Luffy has this much steam left, or fire, whatever that is. He's about to run out of Gear 4th. I didn't really track it as much, but if you guys think that's a thing, you can look at it. But anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about this chapter. Give me your thoughts. Like the video if you did, and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Again, if this is your first time, check out the Discord. It's pretty safe in there, right? You can check it out. It's pretty safe. Like the video. Check out my other videos. They're always lit, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.